Hi, welcome to another Wild Edges Permaculture and Mental Health video. So this week, what the tools and techniques I've been using are something I discovered from Chris Johnstone, who is a resilience practitioner. He wrote a book called 7 Ways to Build Resilience. I will share this information in the channel. So what's been coming up for me is recognizing limitations, and I have that a lot where I have to step back and accept that my brain won't do what my body wants to do. And this is part of having an HSP trait. So I'm full of ideas, lots of inspirations of things I actually want to do, but my brain just won't let me do it. And a lot of the time, this is why when there are opportunities coming up and I put myself forward for things and then something happens and it becomes overwhelming and I don't do that thing, and then I kind of go into a bubble, sort of, go into a fetus position, I suppose, if you like, and I want to step out of the world and I don't want to interact with anybody. But thankfully, from the therapy I had, which I'm not having anymore, I finished that a few months ago, there was something that she obviously did really well. I'm now able to, I guess, shift my thinking a lot more quickly and a lot more easily. So I wouldn't say that I don't ever go to a place where I'm still overwhelmed, I become apathetic. Right now, when I'm doing this with talking to you here, because of the way my brain works, the processes, I'm I'm not able to flow with my conversation. I'm not able to necessarily think completely clearly. So I will generally do these things a few times, these videos a few times before I actually get them right. Sorry if you can hear some noise. The window's shut and there's somebody with a bike outside that is being really noisy. So unfortunately, I can't really do anything about that at the moment, and I'm not going to stop this video because of that. I'm in the flow. So yeah, what's been coming up is looking at my limitations. It's something I'm always doing, and having to step back. And as an HSP, I do have to accept that. And structure and planning is really, really important to me. So having a baseline, planning my days, planning my weeks, tasks and activities that I do. There was a little, there's something that I'd stepped into in the hope that I could do alongside working with Wild Edges, and I've not been sure if I can do it. So I'm in discussions with the person as to whether I can actually do that as doing Wild Edges. And a big thing for me, and what that really hit home for me was that the way the world is set up, the way our systems currently work, it's a monoculture. It's one size fits all, and that's really not fair, because when there's lots of us who have different levels of neurodiversity, and different processes of how our brain works, and we're all expected to be able to do the same thing, the same time, kind of just fit into this square. So we're all these beautiful round pegs and we're made to fit into this square hole, if you like. And there's lots of us who are neurodiverse, beautiful brains, beautiful people. And I think we can all learn to step out of that square hole and grow and evolve as a people that perhaps we were never nurtured to actually do. So I've been using things like PMI, which is positive, minus, and interesting. So it's when making decisions, I've been looking at the positives that can come out of that, what's a bit more negative. So that's like the minus side of it. And just things that stick out for me that make that particular thing interesting. So I've been doing some of that as well. And I've really been focusing on the Prime Directive of permaculture, and looking at what I can achieve and what I can actually do. And that's been really important to me, to be able to do that. So, I mean, as each week when I'm doing these little videos with you, because it's something new that I'm doing, I'm learning to practice them, how I'm speaking to you. It's a whole new sort of process for me, and learning how to do all the tech side of it. But the most important thing for me, and I was thinking about this, and I was looking into that in who I am as a person, and whether things come out right when I talk to you. Um, and what keeps coming up, and I've said this before, is using the principle small and slow solutions. And another little principle which reminds me of when I did my permaculture training in Freeland in Denmark. There was a guy I worked with, as on some of the teacher training sessions. His name was Eric's, and one of the things he said was just do it, and that's always stuck with me. So just doing these videos and speaking and sharing information with you is the most important thing, and also capturing my energy when I can actually do it. So I'm doing them a little bit later than I was earlier, before, when I started. But the most important thing for me is that I do them. So I'm using catching and storing energy. I'm using other tools and techniques that I've heard from other people. I'm using the Prime Directive of permaculture, which is to take care of ourselves, and our children, and we need to do it now. And I'm fully aware I haven't really said that right. And that's because what's happening in my brain right now, is that I know all this stuff, but my brain isn't connecting with my throat. So the anxiety is building up, and I can't flow with my thoughts and processes. Thus, then I get brain fog, and that's just the anxiety coming up. So these are things that are happening. Can happen for me when I'm starting to shift and go through a process of something new. And then the more I practice it, the more I can refine it. And what I would like to say to you is, just get out there and do stuff. If you're not sure of something, if you're not sure that you're doing things to the best of your ability, just get out there and do it. Use small and slow solutions. Just take one step at a time. And the most important thing is being present. And that's really what I wanted to do with you today. So they're just some of the tools and techniques that I've been using this week. And I know that as I'm going to finish this little video for you, I'm going to be a bit of a perfectionist, and I'm going to think I've not done it well enough. Now, this is another trait with HSPs, is perfectionism. And it can be quite destructive, because I want things to be as perfect as they possibly can. And if I'm doing 2 or 3 tasks at once, whether it's working on a consultation, whether it's applying for funding, whether it's creating a session for a workshop, I get quite perfectionist about it. So I get really frustrated if then something doesn't work properly, or I don't have enough time to do something. So I can be quite contradictory with how I do things. But what I use a lot, and what Ian and I use a lot, is this phrase, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. So you can try so hard to make do something that's perfect, and then spend all the time trying to get it right, get all the fine detail in, and then it doesn't really come out as you want anyway, because you put so much energy into that, rather than just getting out there, doing the best you can, and being present, like I say. So I hope that as I do more of these, they will be more refined, and I will gain confidence with them. We've all got our strength, we've all got our weaknesses, and I think we all are very beautiful human beings, and we just need to not let constraints and our limitations actually stop us from being the people who we truly can be. So I'm going to leave you this week with just some of those thoughts, and I hope they've been helpful to you. And if you want to hear more about a particular thing I've mentioned, please, please do let me know. And if you can share this channel, and the more people share it, the more we'll get people looking at this channel and our YouTube channel, and the more I can actually share this and reach people. But yeah, any techniques that you've heard of that you want us to share more with you, please let us know. We're happy to email things, any handouts, any processes, or I can just talk about it here. Please do let me know. So take care of yourself and be present, and don't be a perfectionist about what you do. And lots of love from Wild Edges. Take care, guys.